This is Alice Dubiel. I work as a visual artist in Seattle. Feeding Trees is a talk I like to give about my work and that of some other artists who are involved in depicting our environment. Many artists throughout the world and history have been interested in representing our environment and the way we interact with it. In Pompeii, an artist depicted a garden using illusion techniques to create a compelling image. This is what we consider to be landscape painting. American artists in the 19th century created beautiful images of areas ultimately slated to become national parks. This is work by Thomas Moran, Cliffs of the Upper Colorado River, Wyoming Territory. Moran and others depicted dramatic representations in order to persuade people who would never be able to travel to the West the importance and validity of saving these places through the national park system. These have also come to represent landscape painting for us. I'm interested in creating alternatives to looking at land and land use through persuasive illusion. Many contemporary artists use pattern and repetition to express visual ideas with references to other cultural traditions. This is work by Miriam Shapiro, who uses fabric and textiles in collage to expand the idea of art acceptance. This is called Gates of Paradise. Using acrylic paint and mixed media, I used images of seeds to refer to reproduction, health, and agriculture. This is part of the series Reseeding Gaia, Dynamism, and you've probably seen another in the series in the exhibition. When retelling the story of the Greek epic, the Odyssey, from the point of view of Penelope, Odysseus's wife, I used deep sea imagery to reinforce our interaction and responsibility for the environment. I referenced the work of UW biologists in the Pacific Ocean discovering hot, toxic vents where animals had evolved to tolerate such extreme environments. This is Penelope's web. The light bursts forth. The brightness represents those vents in the ocean where evolutionary changes occurred among those creatures surrounding it. Another part of this series is Naiads Assist. Naiads were ocean goddesses who helped Odysseus on his journey, rescuing him from drowning, putting him on islands where he needed to travel during his wide journey. I like to think that we are all assisting naiads, helping to take care of our environment and especially the sound through using biodegradable soaps, careful about the runoff off the streets or what we put down the drains. I started using topographic maps as another way to create alternative landscape. This is Strategic Clearing Mount Rainier. It's a diptych, which is basically a painting that is made out of two panels and they work together. This is two quadrant maps of Mount Rainier. And you can see the glaciers, and the birds also walk across the landscape. Topographic maps appeal to me because they are made by physically active scientists and engineers. These people document the terrain directly by walking on it. I believe that intimacy with a place affects our relationship to it. I try to see as much as I can most of the places that I depict. This is Resistance Resilience, Pumpkin Mountain. Pumpkin Mountain is located in North Cascades National Park. I spent fall 2006 as an artist in residence at the park, working on a project on human effects on the land. The staff gave me a map from 1976. This map, in comparison with contemporary maps, showed the ways that erosion and other natural effects show evasiveness of geography to reinforce a static view of the landscape. I also learned from park archaeologist Bob Mirendorf that to understand wilderness, we must be open to the existence of many past cultural landscapes. I understand this to mean that wilderness is not a clean slate, but rather a product of human and animal interaction with the land for tens of thousands of years. Another approach to the transformation of the landscape is a printmaking technique called collagraph, where I build up texture on a plate, then I ink it, and when I run it through the press, it not only prints an image but embosses the paper as well. This can reinforce the idea of the explosions and flow from the Mount St. Helens eruption in 1980. This is the breach, which represents the southern part of the mountain. During the time I was at the park residency, I received a grant from For Culture, the King County Arts Commission, for a project called The Hazel Tree Mother, a retelling of the Grimm's version of Cinderella. There's no fairy godmother in this story, but birds living in a tree that Cinderella planted in her dead mother's grave are the ones who bring her the dress and the shoes. And this is an image of the tree and the dress and the shoes from that series. I also made a collagraph with a technique called Shinkalay, where I digitally created the skeleton image and printed it on special paper, and then ran an embossed leaf plate of birch leaves from my yard. Birch is related to hazel, and ran all those through the press at the same time. This is the Sleeping Fairy. That originates from the Prokofiev version of the Cinderella ballet, which has different fairies coming in representing the forest for Cinderella. More recent work has still included some printmaking, but also expanding to a more international perspective. This is the effect of snowmelt on past cultural landscapes. It's an edition of 4 collagraph. They're pretty big, and they use the North Cascades map as the background. And then I've put a lithographic plate of a Balinese image of trees, and then created the collagraph plates and Shinkalay text about the glaciers disappearing in the North Cascades as they've been documented by climate scientists studying in the park. I left 3 of these in Korea as a result of having been invited to participate in international exhibitions there in Daegu, Gwangju, and Gyeongju. More recently, I've been turning to fossils, both because of the association with fossil fuels, but also because I really like them and go visit the fossil sites in Canada where ancient seas left lots of stone remnants of animals such as these trilobites, which are sort of like ancient bugs in the ocean. Some of them are big, some of them are small. A little bit about me. I studied literature and went to art school in California. I have a master's degree in painting, and I taught for many years. My work has been shown internationally and nationally, including locally at Bumbershoot, and I work at my studio in Ballard. Thanks for listening, and if you have any questions, please let me know.